When I tell you, I felt like throwing myself down, screaming, crying, and doing everything. I felt like I would go insane. I felt like I would go insane. What's up guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Been a very long time since I posted another video, and I decided I must post this one ideally because it has a message that I want to pass through. A few days ago I saw Miss Trudy had done a video about how his dad got conned 100,000 in the streets of Nairobi, and I felt I really related to that because a year ago I got one of the hugest scams I've ever gotten in my life. Okay, let's get into this video so that I can explain more and we can get in depth about this matter. Remember, it's creating awareness and it can happen to anyone regardless of what you're doing because you never expect it. Without further ado, let's do this. It was around last year, December, on the 23rd. I received a call from this person and was like, I have seen that you are selling a certain laptop. I am in Westlands. Can you come and we make this deal happen? And I was very skeptical at the moment because I knew a lot of conmen were going around, and it wasn't really advisable to trust someone who you just met. So I was selling one of the latest MacBook Pros, which was very costly, and I decided that, okay, is this person serious enough that he wants to buy this laptop? So I told him that, you know what, if I can't go all the way to Westlands, you will have to come to Thika yourself, where I currently reside. He said that, how about I cover the expense of the fare to this place? And I was like, okay, this person must be serious since he's offering to cover for the fare. And he actually sent the fare, and when he was sending this fare, something was off. Because the first time he sent the fare, after I was like getting ready to go and everything, I didn't pick up my phone for around 10 minutes. I saw he had like tried to reverse the money, and that was my first red flag that I missed. I board one of the public vehicles. I go all the way to Westlands, and when I was along the way, I could see him texting me and was like, are you close to reaching? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in around 20, I'll be there in around 40, I'll be there in around 30. We keep talking as I'm moving closer and closer to Westlands. So I really felt like when I should arrive to Westlands, I should see one of my friends who stays there, Liz Moemba. So I tried to call her, but at the moment I don't think she was having a phone. So I just go all the way to Westlands, and then this person directs me. When I get to town, since he wasn't really having the time, excuse me, since he wasn't really having the time to wait for me, I should just get to town and then pick a motorbike all the way to Westlands. So I wasn't really conversant that well with Westlands at the moment, and it will be more expensive while taking a motorbike. Long story short, I do take this motorbike, and I give them directions to a certain place in Westlands. I think it's called Krishna Center, if I still remember it right. So I arrive at that place, and then when I'm there, I give this person a call and tell them I'm outside the building, where are you? They come dressed in all suit, very official looking. You wouldn't suspect a single thing with this guy. So he picks me up, and then we go inside the building. And then while we're there, you could see like this is a business place. For those who haven't been there, it's a business place where you can set up your offices and everything like that. It does have guards, a lot of CCTV cameras, and there are a lot of businesses just going on there. So we go to around, climb the stairs. He's asking me, how are you, everything, how long have I been having the laptop and everything, just general information that I would expect a customer to ask. So I do tell him what he needs to know, and when we arrived to a certain floor, I believe it was the 4th floor, this guy tells me to give him the laptop so that he can take a look. And you know, I had to give him the laptop, so he started taking a look. He saw that everything was good. I said that I won't remove most of my details, informations and everything, because I wasn't going to know if this was a serious buyer, so it was still on there. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to pick it, so just remove everything that is on here, and then we can talk about how I'm going to transact the money. So it was okay, and I formatted the information that I could, because mostly on MacBook it's not easy to like format every single thing. So I deleted what I could, what was most confidential, I removed it. And then I gave this guy the laptop. And then my second red flag is the fact that he didn't ask to see the charger. That was one of the red flags that I instantly ignored. So to make matters worse, when I'm talking to this guy, my phone, someone calls my phone, and it's the guy with the motorbike who he left down at the apartment building. So this guy came, picked me up, we left the motorbike guy akiwa hapo nje ya hiyo building, and then we're in this building, 4th floor, he's taking a look at my laptop. I tell him that the guy who brought me here says that anataka kwenda and he needs to be paid, and told me that will cover the cost of coming here. And he's like, yeah, we should probably go. So we go outside the building, and then we found this guy was still waiting there. And then he tells me, let's leave this laptop because I don't want to go to and fro. There was a certain shop that was just next to that building. He told me, let's leave this laptop here, and then we go to the bank, which was just, the bank was somewhere you could see, and then we just take the motorbike to the bank. I make the withdrawal, and then I give you so that you can be on your way. And then I was like, okay, no problem. We get to where the bank is. We take this motorbike again, since it was just a short distance, but it was somewhere you could see. He had a bunch of, what do they call them? Envelopes, yeah. Envelopes that had some really like important information. According to my eyes, it looked important, so I don't know. It was like hospital documents and everything. So he told me to hold them for him as I waited with the motorbike guy as he goes inside and makes the withdrawal. So he goes inside for around a minute and a half, and then he comes back outside and he's like, okay, I'm going to need your phone because there's some details I need to take, and I'm currently using a Kabambe phone, which is like the retro phones, the old phones, yeah, that use buttons and everything. So he comes, long story short, I do give him my phone. I think he saw my phone from the time that the motorbike guy was trying to call me. So I do write the information he needed on my phone, and then he does go inside. Goes inside, I'm here outside with the motorbike guy and his envelopes of God knows what, but they looked very important, they looked bulky, they looked like, yes, he's going to need. In my mind was like, this guy can't run away because clearly he will need these envelopes. So he goes inside, and then I saw there were even security checks and everything. So I was like, okay, this is a safe place. At first the building looked small from the outside, but as I waited outside, it got to 2 minutes, then 4 minutes, then 6 minutes, and I wasn't seeing this guy. And that is when I started to panic, like, oh my gosh, where is this guy? And then I tell that motorbike guy, can you wait for me here outside, because I was making a deal with someone. I was trying to sell them something that I had never really met. So that person was so patient enough to wait for me. I went inside and I went through the security check that was there, and then I started just roaming around, and to my utter surprise, the place was a mall. It was a mall, and you couldn't even tell from the outside. I mean, you can't tell at all. If I'll find like the pictures on Google of the place, I'll like try and pin them somewhere here, but you couldn't tell. So this place just looked normal from the outside. It looked like it was a bank in a way, But when I enter, it's so big. It has escalators, elevators. It is so big. It has even a supermarket in it.
The nigger was too stunned to speak.
I asked one of the guards which is the direction to like the finances and banking and everything. Then he told me to take my left. I took my left, and then I saw there was a place for like the different types of bank corporations. And then I went and started looking through each and every one of them. I will go inside, and then I'm seeing there's nobody. I go to the other one, they are closing because it was close to 4 p.m. at that time. So I started panicking, and I started going round and round and round. And after spending around 10 minutes looking just around, I go to the front desk where there were two of kind of guards, officers, let me call them guards, because they were working with the G4S. I asked them, there was a guy who entered here a couple of minutes ago and was supposed to go to a bank and transact me some money. So I can't see him at all. And then they were like, okay, this is something that happens a lot of times here.
And you just got conned.
When I tell you, I felt like throwing myself down, screaming, crying, and doing everything. I felt like I would go insane. I lost a laptop that was close to 100,000+, and I had lost my phone, and I had no way of contact. I had nothing. So I felt really depressed. And I just stood there. I was stunned. These guys even had to help me. When they took water that they could bring me to drink, because I was looking like someone who was about to lose their mind, was on the verge of losing it. So I did stand there for a couple of minutes. They started just talking to me and everything, just ensuring that I understood what was happening. And I tried to understand. I tried to bring my mind. I tried to even think what I'm going to say when I get back home. So I just stood there, and I thank God for these people, because they assisted me even with the phone to reach someone that was going to send me money to go back, because all my money was in my M-Pesa, and there was nowhere close to that place I could replace my line and everything. So these people gave me their phones, they called, and they gave me the money after it was sent, and it was time to go home. So I was just there. I was walking the streets of Westlands like someone who is completely about to lose their mind. So remember, I did leave this motorbike guy outside. He's waiting. Then I come outside and tell him I have been conned. This guy felt so sorry for me. He felt so sorry for me that he told me that there's no problem. You just go find a way you can get back to town, and then you get back home. I'm not even going to charge you anything. And then, because this is something that had happened to him a long time ago, but I do have this guy's documents with me. I'm still holding them. And then this motorbike guy has decided that he's going to let me go free of all the expenses. So he goes back to town, and I'm there just walking the streets of Western, just walking. I come across another motorbike which I do take to town, and I do pay this one. And I do go, and the first thing I do when I get to town is shut down all my SIM cards, which were two. At the time I was having an Airtel one and a Safaricom one. I do shut them down so that I can get a different SIM card. And then I do take a public vehicle back to Thika. So upon getting to Thika, I get home and I'm really nervous, I'm really stressed. I can't believe what has just happened. And then to make matters worse, this laptop, it's something that I was gotten for doing YouTube, and then that's why I went out of YouTube for a long time to try and process all that had happened. I had nothing to shoot on, and this was something that was just heartbreaking to say the least. I get to Thika, and as I am in Thika, as I've gotten home, I tried to contact my parents. At the time they were in Mombasa. So I'm asking for my aunt's phone, and my aunt is like, "Where is your phone?" So I'm like, "My phone, something happened." and it's something I don't want to talk about. So long story short, I do get her phone. I do tell my parents what has just happened. They were really sorry, and they were just grateful, because some of these people, they can even kidnap you and ask for a ransom or something worse, because this was just a mere thing of what they can do. These people wake up, they dress professionally just to do this kind of things. So it was really lucky that I got out safe and sound, because at the end of the day, your life is what matters. All these things are replaceable, but getting a second you really isn't. And I try like the Google find my phone and everything, and it couldn't trace this phone. I try calling to different like Apple places in Kenya, and the good thing with Apple, the customer care is among the best. So they were telling me, send me your IMEI number and everything, and I couldn't be able to send because I didn't even know like the box and everything was. The person who sold me the Apple, that laptop, couldn't locate where the IMEI number was, because if you wanted to get the IMEI number, was either on the box or inside the laptop. So inside the laptop, in the sense that if you open the bottom like compartment, you will see the sticker for the IMEI number, and the laptop was nowhere to be seen. So I will tell them, wasn't there another way you could try and help me? And they were like, no, there is no absolute other way. I even went to Safaricom, and they told me that there's no way of tracking the phone unless I had like some official authority accompanying me to all those things. And I knew that with the legal system we have in Kenya, it was going to cost me a lot of money, and in the long run it will cost me a lot of money that I would use to replace everything that I have lost. It will take a long time, but surely I would be able to replace everything. So I'm just getting to the good part, where I got to seek help from the police. I do have the friend I mentioned earlier called Liz Mwemba, and her mother was very kind enough to help me. So he was like, come to Westlands, and then we can see if we can go to the Parklands police station and see what they can do for us. The next day I went back to Westlands, and we went to Parklands police station. I think they pulled some strings, and then I go to speak with the person heading the criminal investigation. I believe it's the CID. So I do speak to him. I tell him what had happened, all the events that took place on that day, and was like, at first I came to realize how stupid I was to like give this person my laptop without getting the money first. But you know, it's something that you, at the moment with all that is happening, seeing this guy dressed officially and everything, couldn't suspect. Trust me, you can suspect. So long story short, I do get this what do they call it, there's a certain like paper they give you, like a waiting card or something. I've forgotten the name. If you remember, drop it down in the comment. And if you are liking the story so far, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. I will really appreciate to hear from you. After we've gone there to the police station, I am just seated there. A lady comes in. She says that she has just made a wrong transfer of money of around 30,000 to a different person. And I do realize that these are things that go on a daily basis, especially if you're in Nairobi. It's so prone for you to come and experience these things. And so after some time, I just get home and see that the cost of coming from Thika to Westlands every day commuting, because they wanted me to commute almost on a single basis so that you can try and track this phone, was going to be too hectic for me, and it's going to be costly. It was just too much for me. I decided to like lay back on the investigation. Whether they will find this guy or they won't, it's not a problem. I remember I do have this guy's documents, so I just came back home. I started going through them. I saw like there were these hospital documents, but they were blank. So you would have like Kenyatta Hospital like filling forms, those forms that you fill when you're brought in a person, around 50 of them, but they are totally blank. So it was like, where did this guy even get this? And they were from like different hospitals. They were just a bait for me to take. So I just sit there, but something catches my eye. Inside there was like a small paper that had a number on it, and then it was written a certain name. So I do call this number, and a motorbike person picks up and he's like, hello. I'm like, hello. And he tells me that, who are you? I introduce myself. I say that I recently got conned, and on the envelope I found your number. I explained everything, and then he's like, okay. So what happened is I met this person in Upper Hill. So I met this person. He told me he wanted to go to Kenyatta Hospital and he wanted to take the motorbike there. I don't know if it's Kenyatta or it's Kempisha, one of them. I took him, and upon arriving to the hospital, he goes in, and then he tells me to wait for him outside without paying me. And then after about 5 minutes comes back and says that his phone is dead and needs to make a phone call because there's someone he's supposed to meet up with so that they can see the sick person they're supposed to go and see. This person gives him the phone, but turns out he didn't know that the place had like another exit. So this person gets in to like make the phone call, and then long story short, the guy disappears with the phone. So it says that he went to the police station and got this number. I don't know if it's the AOB number, I don't know what it is, but long story short, he did get that number. And then he says that the police have never really done anything because he has been there in and out and nothing is really working. And he says that if he continues, he's afraid that they will start asking him for money, and it's just a phone that he can replace with around 20,000, 30,000, and he'll be good enough to get another one. With this short story of mine, I hope you have learned something about Nairobi. Ogopa Kanairo, that's all I can say, because those streets are unsafe. If you're going there with your phone, with any gadget you have, even with money, do not stand to shake anyone's hand. Why are you shaking their hand? Why are you greeting anyone on the streets? You do not know them. You do not owe them your greetings. So it's better off you just mind your business. I even as much as possible avoid going to town and everything. I prefer, like when I'm trying to navigate around town, I just use Bolt. But if you can't get access to Bolt, because I have heard that Bolt has also had some scandals in terms of women and everything, try and make sure you're at least navigating the place with a few friends or something that will just keep an eye out for you, because pickpocketers are there. Every type of person is in Nairobi CBD. So this is just an awareness video to tell you to look out, to just be careful, to just stay safe, especially this December time. It happened to me on the December 23rd. You can imagine that it happened on the 23rd when you're going to Christmas. I didn't even spend my Christmas that well. Yeah, so it's something very hectic when you get conned. And I do know on my YouTube channel I speak about tech a lot, and I will be having those weekly tech vlogs, but I want to kind of also make a room for doing so much more. Like I can go and travel, I can go and do sit down videos like these ones, and I hope you'll be all here for it. So remember to click that subscribe button, give it a like, and drop your comment. Let me know if you've ever been conned, if Nairobi has ever gone wrong for you. Just share the experience in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe.